Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you everything I ate in a day as a vegan with an emphasis on fall foods because I'm feeling the fall season. So I started out my morning with some turmeric mango tea. I always like to start out my day with some sort of tea. Usually it's a turmeric tea. My favorite is a turmeric ginger, but this one is pretty good as well. So I just scooped out around 2 tablespoons of the loose leaf tea into this tea contraption that I have. And then I added some hot water over the top of it. And the cool thing about this contraption, it has its own like sieve on it. So you can just pour the tea straight out of it after it steeps in here. So while the tea was steeping, I made myself a greens drink, and because 'tis the season, I used some pumpkin spice greens powder from Amazing Grass. This one is actually, I think, probably my favorite flavored one. So I just mixed that with some water and stirred everything together, and then I drank this while my tea was brewing. And then I just rinsed this mug out once I finished drinking it, and then my tea was about to finish brewing at this point, so I poured it in and then enjoyed that. And then for breakfast, I made a pumpkin yogurt bowl. Honestly, I don't like to put too much effort in my breakfast during the weekday, so this one was very easy. I just put in a carton of plant-based yogurt. I've shown this one before. The brand is called Lava. It's an unsweetened yogurt made from like coconut and this thing called a pili nut, but I like it. And I also had some leftover pumpkin puree left in my fridge from recipe development, so I decided to add that to the yogurt along with a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. And then I just mixed everything together until it was all well incorporated and nice and smooth and creamy. And then my friends from Miami actually sent me a package of fruit. So these are called Kumquats. They're kind of like oranges or tangerines, but the skin is really thin, so you can eat them. So I sliced those up, put them on my bowl. And then I also made some pumpkin spice granola earlier this week. The recipe's on my blog, so I will link it below. And that was it for my breakfast. Just mixed everything together and enjoyed. Then for lunch, I was filming recipe videos today, so I had some of this broccoli cheddar casserole. I was so excited to make this. It's a dump and bake casserole, so you actually cook the rice in the oven. But to start out, we're going to make our broth for the casserole just by toasting up some nutritional yeast in a pan. And then once it becomes nice and golden brown, we're going to add in our other spices, which includes some garlic powder, some turmeric, and some smoked paprika. Then we're going to add in our vegetable broth and stir everything together and then bring this mixture to a boil. And you want this mixture to already be at a boil when we pour it into our casserole, so that allows the rice to cook faster when it's actually in the oven. So then for our actual casserole, you're going to put some chickpeas in the bottom of a casserole dish, followed by some broccoli florets, and then just sprinkle some uncooked dry brown rice over the top. So the rice is going to absorb the liquid as it cooks in the oven and become nice and fluffy, and you have a casserole at the end. I think this recipe is really, really cool. And it's also really great for meal prep, and you could totally customize it, add different flavors, add different veggies, whatever, but it is on my blog, so it will all be linked below if you want to make it, which you should. So you're just going to mix everything together so it's nice and even, and then cover it with some tin foil, and you're going to bake it in the oven for about an hour. And then after an hour passes, you're just going to remove the foil, and as you can see, the rice is nice and fluffy and steamy and yummy. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I don't know. I'm just really fascinated by this concept, guys, okay? But you can serve it however you'd like. I just plopped some out and put it on a plate. I did have to photograph it for my blog before I actually ate the recipe. So I have my rice casserole that I already photographed, but then I had some leftover chickpeas that didn't make it into the recipe, so I just put those on top, and then I microwaved this because by the time I finished taking photos, the casserole itself was actually kind of cold. And then I decided to top mine with a nice drizzle of tahini because I'm obsessed with tahini, but I feel like tahini goes really well with like fall cozy flavors too. So this was very satisfying and very easy to make. Like I said, perfect for meal prep. And yep, that was my lunch. And then for dinner, I made myself a salad. I like to have some form of leafy greens at least once a day, usually in the form of a salad, but I had a delicata squash and some leftover cubed sweet potato left in my fridge, so that inspired me to make a salad. So I just chopped up a delicata squash. This is a delicata squash, if you've never seen one before. I just sliced it into rounds, and then I used a spoon to scoop out the interior. In retrospect, it would have made more sense just to slice the squash once long ways and then take all the seeds out and then slice it, but you know, what's done is done, can't undo that. So I just cleaned all of the individual pieces and then put it on a baking tray lined with a reusable silicone mat. And then I just poured the leftover cubed sweet potato that I had in my fridge over the top of it and sort of stirred it around. And I didn't add any seasonings to this just because I knew I was going to be adding other seasonings to the salad, so I just popped it in plain into the oven. And while it was roasting, I just took a large bunch of kale and destemmed it and then sliced it really finely for my salad. I honestly love kale. I don't get why people don't like kale. I could eat it every day, but I do think slicing it finely is also key. And then I added in some fresh herbs. I love adding fresh herbs to my salad, and I just use really whatever I have in my fridge. So this week I had some parsley left over from a recipe as well as some fresh dill. So I chopped both of those up to add to my salad as well. Then the second secret to having kale be enjoyable is to massage it. I've shown you guys this before. Usually I will massage it with the dressing, but I also like to massage it before I add the dressing too. And as you can see, it just becomes more soft, less bitter, and easier to digest. So then I just added in my freshly chopped herbs and stirred everything together. And then at about this time, the squash and sweet potato pieces were done. Just wanted to show you what they look like. But before we add these to our salad, I don't know why I'm saying salad, I am going to be making my favorite dressing of all time, which is an easy tahini dressing. I have a recipe for this on my blog with step-by-step instructions, but this is more of a single serving portion if you want to do that. Basically, you just add some tahini to a bowl, like 1 to 2 tablespoons, along with the juice of half of a lemon and a pinch of salt. And then today I also decided to add some garlic powder and some cumin for some extra spiciness. So then you're just going to whisk everything together. And as you can see, the tahini kind of gets really thick and weird looking, but you're not done yet, don't worry. You're just going to slowly add water to the dressing while you mix it, and then just keep whisking until it gets to your desired consistency. So if you want to massage it into the kale, you might want it to be a little thicker. If you want to drizzle it over something, you might want it to be like a medium thickness, or if you want to use it like a vinaigrette for salad dressing, you'd want it to be pretty thin. I wanted mine to be pretty thin in this case so I could just pour it over my salad and then mix everything together with the greens until it was all nicely incorporated. And then I had some leftover cooked lentils in my fridge that I added to the bowl, along with those roasted sweet potato chunks. And then I mixed all of that together until, again, it was well incorporated or evenly combined. Then I plopped my salad onto a bowl, spread it around, and then topped it with some of the roasted Delicata squash. And this was my dinner. Honestly, my dinner is pretty similar to this every night. I just like to roast up some veggies in the fall and have it with a salad with some sort of nice creamy dressing, and then get some beans or tofu or other plant-based protein in there to make it a well-balanced meal. Got some complex carbs, some healthy fats, some protein, you know, all the good stuff. And then for dessert, because who doesn't want dessert? I had some chocolate and some fresh fruit. These fruits are also from my friends from Miami. They do have a fruit company, so I'll link it below if you guys want to check it out. They were Longans and Rambutans. Let me know in the comments below if you've had either of those fruits before. But then I also had some of this wild blueberry chocolate. That's how much I had. And that is everything that I ate in a day as a vegan in the fall. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.